Hello Aqua friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Nicole and today I have this beautiful golden light filled painting of this pretty tiny little moth. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy this process. I have all the supplies listed in the description of this video. But basically you're going to need watercolor paper, some nice warm colors, and a couple of brushes with a spray bottle. You will also need some round sponge daubers, or you can use a paintbrush to lift up some round circle shapes for the bokeh lights. So let's get right into it. We're going to start off by wetting our paper really well with some clean water. The background basically paints itself. I really like doing the wet on wet technique and spraying your paper and tilt your paper so that the paint will flow together, and it just creates these wonderful light effects. I'm loosely following this reference photo. So I'm building up some of those darker tones on the bottom, and I'm letting things move on the paper by tilting it, and it just does its own thing and it turns out so pretty. I did not mask my moth, but I am just lifting off any areas that are too dark. Once you're happy with the amount of warm colors that you have on there, I'm going in and adding those bokeh lights with my sponge daubers. I have a couple of different sizes, and I am just continually looking at that reference photo and adding in these light effects. Like I said, I'm varying the colors. Now, as the paper dries, some of these circles will fill back in with the paint, and I just keep going over those areas until I get the light effects that I would like. Once it's completely dry, I'm going in and lightening up some of those circles even more with a damp sponge dauber, and further lifting it by using my tissue, as you can see. So we have some wonderful things going on. We have a lot of different tonal values in the background, and we do have wonderful light that looks really nice and bright in that upper left-hand corner. So once you're happy with the amount of bokeh lights that you have, basically the last part is the foreground moth and a little bit of the branches. I'm using a script liner brush for this to draw in my branches, and I'm sticking with the same palette colors using my raw sienna. And they're very delicate. I want them just to be very faint in this picture. With some clear water, I am wetting the branch areas. It will just give it a softer touch. It won't be so harsh. Now, the fun part working on the moth, I am using the quinacridone gold. That is a perfect undertone for the colors. And as you can see, he's got that one wing that is really nice and bright, and you can kind of see the sun shining through it. So along with the quinacridone red, I'm using the burnt sienna for this moth. Now, there are some beads of water that have a glistening look to them, and I thought it would be kind of fun to use a pearlescent white to kind of portray the water droplets. And I'm using it very sparingly on some of the branches and little dots of water. So it's not necessary to have that, but if you wanted to give it a try, it's kind of a neat effect. So going more into working on my moth here, I do have some sepia to get the outline of his wings. And I'm working on his wing wet on wet so that those dark outlines will sort of blend in with the rest of his wing in the center. He's got a small dot that I'm working on. So before I can move on to the other wing, I want to make sure that that bottom wing is dry first. So I'm working the wings in layers like this will make sure that we have those really nice defined edges. Putting tiny bits of that pearlescent sparkly color on his wing as well. So working the moth in a couple of layers. Got his body. Now we're getting that tiny little head in there with his cute little feet holding onto that tiny branch. And of course, the antennas there. So he's looking quite cute. So since that's the main branch that he is attached to, I'm just darkening that one up a tiny bit. Just adding a few details. I hope you guys are getting some value out of this video. If so, give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I post videos every week and some YouTube shorts for some fun projects. So that is how simple it is to create this cute little moth in this sun-kissed background. I hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial, and I will see you next week.